Welcome, you're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. This year, the so-called road fund started functioning in Ukraine. It is estimated at around 40 billion hryvna. This money is expected to be spent on road repairing throughout Ukraine. How is the process going so far? To give us more details, we're joined in the studio today by Olena Kryvoruchko. She's the head of the Ukrdorinvest state company. Hello, and thank you for joining us. So how many kilometers of the roads does your enterprise supervise exactly?
So basically we are supervising only projects which are financed through the loan proceeds from international financial institutions. So basically, and we are concentrated mostly on new construction and capital repair rehabilitation, while what is done through the budget means is basically repair or maintenance only. So that's why we are strictly following what is doing on the site right now during this construction season. For example, just was completed the World Bank monitoring mission to all the sites which are financed through World Bank loan proceeds. So we've been to Poltava, we've been to Khmelnytsky to monitor what is going on the site, because as we understand, all the construction works to be started with launching of new construction season, mainly in April. And some of the contractors are on site already. So we were following and supervising social environmental policy, following according to the regulations of the World Bank, as well as basically construction itself. So the result of the mission is rather positive one, because, for example, in Poltava we have a huge contract for construction of 3 bypasses, and basically 2 of them to be completed this year, by the end of this year. One of out of these 3 is Poltava bypass, is to be completed in 2019. We have here huge artificial structures within these contracts, so total amount of the contract is $135 million US, and basically what is World Bank doing is strictly following whether everything is according to the contract signed, whether the contractor is responsive to all the criteria specified in the contract, meaning whether he follows social and environmental policy, because it's different from what we have in national legislation. And that's why we have here in these contracts financed by IFI, not just the employer like Ukrdorinvest State Road Agency and World Bank as a monitor, as a supervisor, meaning how the loan proceeds are used. But here we have also, and it's compulsory, that we have supervision team. It's consultancy service contract.
The supervision team consists of Ukrainians or foreigners?
Mainly foreigners,
Okay.
So what we are doing, before the contractor is selected through international competitive bidding procedure, we are conducting a procurement procedure for selection of so-called supervision consultant. This is the team, this is the company to be selected based on also international competitive procedure. And the main goal of this supervision team to supervise, to monitor, to provide technical supervision services. So basically on the side, this team is responsive for everything the contractor is doing. So basically for certification, for verification of all the volumes executed by the contractor.
The expert team is the one who actually answers to the donor,
yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. And basically what we are doing when the employer is coming, meaning the employer from Kiev, first of all, the consultancy service supervision engineer is presenting what is going on, because he is official representative. And usually we have like Italian, French, German companies who are providing these services. Of course, they involve locals as well as a local staff, because mainly key staff, this is the person who is rather qualified in terms of this specific contract. And the criteria we set out for the selection of this consultant is like 20 years experience on similar project in other countries. So that's why we have rather experienced one, rather strict ones, and there is no even sense of any trial of misleading or putting the pressure, yes, so both on the contractor and the employer.
Tell me this, since you're working on a different, like with a different procedure, I mean, comparing to what the state-owned companies do, because you're working with international financial institutions, is the market, is the competitiveness high on the market?
Yes, it's rather high. It's even more than on the markets where the tenders are conducted through budget means, and I can explain why. So basically, what we have in the contracts which are executed and financed through the budget means, the competition for the contracts for repair, maintenance is around 1.5 participants. So it means so when the employer, meaning the road service in any region, announce the tender, as a result, the employer receives as a maximum 2 bids. If we are talking about international competitive procedure, which we are following through these projects financed by IFIs, we have competition at the level of minimum 15 participants.
That's a drastic change.
Yes, and the main point, the reasons of such a difference. And basically what we have here in IFI finance project, why the competition is so high. This is because the financing is guaranteed. It's guaranteed by the international financial institution, because all the payments which are to be made are done through, first of all, these financial institutions. So not the employer, meaning Ukravtodor State Road Agency, or whoever else will be paying. So the payment will be going through, for example, Washington, if we are talking about the World Bank, or London, if you are talking about EBRD. This is the first thing, because as you know, we have for years already problems of delay payments from the state side. Yes, that's why the contractors are not very keen actually to make the debts for themselves.
Is this the reason we have this maintenance called spot repair? When,
absolutely.
Is this the reason? Okay.
One of a lot of reasons, yes. And another reason why they are following and why they are competitive, why they have rather strong competition on this IFI finance project, this is the contract conditions. Contract conditions for works execution. So if we are talking about IFI, here we have contract conditions which are stipulated by the bank's policy. And here we have FIDIC contract conditions, so-called Red Book of FIDIC, which stipulates 3 parties among the relationships between the employer, the contractor, and this so-called supervision engineer. Yes, and all the contracts are measured. What does it mean? So what is executed by the contractor will be definitely paid, regardless what is stipulated in the contract, because what is the main goal during the bidding procedure for the contractor is to define the unit rate for each activity, regardless what the employer has estimated at the volume of this activity. So they have provided, for example, the unit rates for 2 years contract. Yes, and when they have started the works execution, they have realized, for example, that the volume is much more bigger, or
that could happen.
Or less. Yes, it may happen, because actually what is the current problem of our projects, I mean road projects, is poor design. This is honest, this is for sure, that we have not so modern standards in terms of design of road construction and rehabilitation, and that's why when international contractors are coming and see what was designed, actually a lot of variation orders are coming out, because they are providing more modern solutions for the same problem. Yes, and it really saves the money, I mean public money, but not exaggerates the budget itself. So basically what we are starting with is variation orders, and why the contractors are sure that everything will be paid, because the unit rate for each activity is fixed, and whatever is done is just multiplied by this unit rate, and the contractor, if everything is done properly and the engineer, supervision engineer certified the works done, so it will definitely be paid.
That is so great. What is the recipe for the best quality roads?
This is, first of all, this is the attitude to the work you are doing. For example, if the contractor is responsible for not just the reputation of the company, yes, but is orientated for the work for years in Ukraine, for example, because everybody is asking why Turkish contractors are so successful in Ukraine, because they're doing job for years, and they're very interested to stay in Ukraine, yes, to do the job of very good quality. They are not interested in corruption risk because it's their reputation, and they know for sure if any corruption risk was confirmed by the financial institution, meaning World Bank, EBRD, EIB, and so forth, so on, so they will never be awarded any more contracts. So they will be blacklisted. There is a debarment list common for all the IFIs, and if this corruption or fraud risk is verified by the institution, so they will be debarred for years. So it's not in their interest, and their interest to show the good job for the good money.
What's your next large-scale project you're currently preparing for?
So basically, we have just awarded, and the contract was signed for a huge project, rather huge in terms of contract amount. It's 175 million US. This is the project financed by the World Bank. Yes, and the main goal of this project to rehabilitate the road from Poltava to Kharkiv. This is M03 road. So this is the continuation of the work which was done within our cooperation with the World Bank previously, and now it's a next step. So basically the contract means that within 2 years the contractor is to rehabilitate the road, to bring it into the first category, and to make sure that it is in compliance with all the standards. And it's
supposed to be done by when?
By 2020, so we just have signed it.
Okay, we're going to be eagerly waiting for that. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this information with us. This was Olena Kryvoruchko. She is the head of the Ukrdorinvest state company. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned with UATV for more.